All right, good evening. Welcome to JCCR Racing. Are you ready to experience adrenaline pumping thrill of racing like never before in Gran Turismo 7? Well, if so, engage in fierce online battles. Come right here for testing your skills against top drivers worldwide for Class C and D and master every curve, straight, and apex. Now, we're going to be going through testing all the vehicles because the goal, oh shucks, we'll also be doing beginner tips, and one big beginner tip is this week's online racing. As excited as you might be to get the race in, don't press on the gas until it's time to go. So we're testing to find out what the best online GR3 car is. We want it to be solid, we want it to have excellent brakes. A lot of it comes down to actually, everyone knows that you can go look at the global rankings and see what the top 2 or 3 cars are for every race. But I highly recommend taking a car you're actually comfortable with, that suits your strengths and weaknesses and your driver's style. Every car has their pros and weaknesses. There's some extreme differences between some cars. Oh, it's getting bumpy. And we're going to also, of course, cover tips and tricks for every curve. There's going to be adrenaline pumping, and it's going to be a battle. We'll have epic battles. So there, of course, you want to take the apex. You always want to go in slower so that you can come out faster. So in slow so we can get the apex here. Then as we come out, as we get to about the center of the apex, we throttle on it. Apex is the inside of the corner here, apex. And as we come out, we can really throttle on it. You can see it's really helping us gain speed and close the distance between the clowns in front of us. They're not all clowns. There's some excellent drivers, but you saw how we're getting rocked at the beginning of the race, and that's what goes down on C and D class. Mind you, here at JCCR Racing, we undertake driving that can be considered gentlemanly. We're often the slowest car, one of the slower cars on the track, because we're often trying out new cars to help discover the best cars, all their strengths and weaknesses, and really matching that up. So Squirrel 86, hey JCCR, everyone in the chat, hope you're all doing good. Thank you very much for the kind message. Squirrel, kindness in life is free, and it'll get you a lot further than being a dirty dog. Like some of these donkeys that are going to be punching us in the rear there. Often you go to, whether it's in the sim racing or real life, you think you're, getting ahead, and, you're really doing your best to tank someone, to, kind of bring someone down to sort of make yourself look better. Well, that might work a few times, but eventually you're going to hit too hard, just like in the race here. Sometimes people will go to spear you into another stratosphere, and it backfires. They bounce off the door, and they go into the wall themselves. And other racers slowly learn, like, oh, okay, that's the troublemaker. And someone who you might have had no trouble with whatsoever comes and takes you out. So kindness is free, Squirrel. Thank you for your kindness. And folks, to not miss out on adrenaline racing here, subscribe, hit the like button, turn bell notifications on, and please do drop a comment. It will be extremely appreciated by myself and the JCCR racing crew. So here we're dedicated to create a racing crew, a group of people that either like watching sim racing or actually also perform sim racing, or just want to get better and learn tips and tricks for taking, go-karting or any type of racing. We want to create a real racing crew here that helps each other out, a mix of coaching, mentoring, and often won't be done by me because I just got speared. I am not there's the type of behavior I was talking about. Speared me to another stratosphere, but he himself bounced off the GTR. It's the 1999 GR3 GTR, and you can see it is very, oh, I'm sorry, friend, Stormin, I'm very sorry. I started braking a little bit after you, and he bounced off. He speared us in the side door, and he bounced off and went right into the wall. So it demonstrates that kindness is free. Oh! I had too much car in the visor, and all I saw was car, and I wasn't focusing on where I was on the track. So good to follow close, but sometimes unless you're really used to it, sometimes it doesn't always pay to follow that close. So trying out a new car, completely new, 1999 Nissan GTR, and it is very beefy. It does not get pushed around on the track very much. It doesn't have the same turn-in and light handling of, let's say, the McLaren or the NSX. But it's good. I have no issues with it so far. Throttling while on... Oh, it's not a lap that's going so well. Throttling down, like pressing down on the pedal really quickly when you're still on the candy canes, the curb, can have a bit of back end slide, but nothing too drastic so far. So we got really hit hard in that corner, lost a lot of positions last lap right there. And one piece of advice, and I'm not doing it myself right now, I guess those that can't teach, and I'm showing that I can't right now, but it's to throw on the radar on the side. I've got the map up, which at this point I'm talking so much, it's not as if I can concentrate on anything. Can barely concentrate on the race, but we're going to get a few positions up just by safe, smart driving. That's another thing that we test here. We like to test to see if you can have slow lap times, but because you're driving safe and smart, can you still win races? And so far on Highway 1, the answer was yes. And the week before, another online race, actually we got a lot of pole positions. There's a race that I actually knew. So got to take that corner a lot faster. The GTR feels, it's not confidence, it's really good for not getting pushed. We just got hit really hard there and barely got pushed off track. So big key tip, don't retaliate. It's not really going to get you ahead. You'll get time penalties. Other cars will see you as, you know, the car to take out. So it's really not worth retaliating. And when you retaliate, you're going to get kicked out of a high. Right now, for example, sportsmanship, we're S. They're the highest level. If we're in a lower sportsmanship level, I couldn't take it. It'd just be far too frustrating. And the frustration sometimes, yeah, it gets in. Feels like I'm playing Warzone at times. But it's a lot worse before. And now that we're in S rating, it's a lot of reward for a little bit of inconvenience. So this corner we gotta go real slow, and should have been on the apex there. A little bit of driving error here at the 50. So we see that on the right, the 50 mark, quick braking, get into the correct gear. So the suggested gear, I like to go through the curved turns in that suggested gear. And if it's a car I'm worried that the back end will slide out, I jump up a gear in order to avoid tire spin. Mind you, the GTR is really great. I'm not being thrown around by excessive braking or excessive acceleration. So we got the pits here, we should go in. We don't want the 1 minute penalty for not going in. You gotta make sure you don't cross the lines. If you cross the lines coming into the pits or going out, you're gonna get a hefty 3.5 second penalty. So this, I'm glad, gives me a chance to come and see what's going on in the chat. Great to see you, Squirrel. Happy you're here this evening. Thank you so much for making it for the live. So yeah, let's build a crew. Let's learn and grow together. And that means sometimes you're going to be in the learning seat. Sometimes you're going to be in the coaching and mentoring seat. So everyone, you know, feel free. Take some and give some. And I mean, in regards to learning and comments. And on Friday, well, if I get pushed around in the subs lobby, that's okay. I understand it's part of the game. But I certainly do like focusing in on, you know, just trying to lap after lap improve. I see that corner, for example, I hadn't taken it that well yet with this new car. And it just goes to show you, knowing the car makes a huge difference. So I always hold the opinion, as much as the top laps might be done by a car, if you're not familiar with that car, you're going to have that learning curve. And if your learning curve, you learn really slowly with new cars, you're probably better off just sticking with your current car. And it also depends how much you play, because these races are only up once a week. So if you're going to race 3 or 4 times only in the week, and you already don't know the track that well, tackle it with a car you know. Of course, if you're a pro and you're A+, well, you can probably drive any car, any track. You have pretty much everything memorized. It's a whole different ball game. That's why I like to learn. I love to, for entertainment, watching A+ players and really seeing like, oh, okay, that's the best line. I also like to watch the Ghost in these games and do the circuit experience with the Ghost loaded, or watching the videos of the world's best. Thank you, Squirrel. A good part of that advice and knowledge comes from, discussing with you. So I really appreciate you've given a lot of really good tips and advice to the channel, as well as an amazing JCCR GTR skin, which I displayed in a non-live video just last night. Couldn't go to bed last night until I checked out that skin, and I said, well, better make a video on this. It is actually really, really, really cool. I just feel bad because my first initial, partial, I opened it and I said, oh my goodness, this is so cool. I have to do a video. So my initial joy and shock wasn't quite captured, but I was and am very happy. Now there's a Brian Michaud, which I don't know if that's another account of yours, Squirrel, but Brian Michaud was asking if there was, or if there is, a logo for the channel that people can kind of choose to put it on their vehicle or not. And there isn't a logo. I have put the yellow JCCR lettering on the back wing of the, woo, thank you, love getting pushed. Thank you so much. It feels like Christmas, Genesis. You're already the top car for this track. Why not add to the joy by being a dirty driver? We love them dirty. Bring them. Bring on the dirties. Oops. He was kind of in my line there, and I think that's why he was in my line and going slow, so I don't think I'm going to get a penalty for that. It was a light bit of paint. Now if I hit him here, that's completely my fault, but nope, I was good on the brakes. Here we go. So we got people quitting on the race. General tip for life and sim racing: don't quit out. Stick to it. Keep performing, and it's okay to be the worst, because you got to be the worst before you can be okay, and you got to be okay before you can be great. Now I really like how he came back on the track. Even though he was ghosted, he came on in a professional manner, watching the traffic coming in, and I could see that he kind of hit the brakes a little bit, slowed down. Now that Genesis is fast, dirty, but fast. He's got the line and he's got the speed. It's not that the car's faster. The car might make a fraction of a difference, but it really boils down to him just being a good, solid driver. You can see he's getting in slow. He gets the right line, and then he's back on the throttle nice and early. He's going to be hard to catch. And I bet he'd be in a much higher position if he wasn't driving so dirty. And look how wide he goes. Wow. So, great following a better driver. A learning opportunity. He could be a lot faster if he wasn't wasting speed and time penalties banging away on people. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay. One small issue I have with the GTR is it can't take quite as much throttle coming out of a corner as some mid-engine rear wheel, and that makes sense. It's physics, right? The rear wheels on this don't have nearly as much weight on them, so if you're harder on the throttle, oh come on, man, oh come on, I'm already giving you the proper line. If you just drive the line, so that's something that I find is really odd and should come with huge time penalties. I'm giving him the line. I'm staying off, and I'm, you know, in the wrong position. Like, I'm not in a position to be able to go fast. So if he just takes the proper line, he can smoke me, blow my doors off. But instead, he decides to bang on me like I'm some fresh apple pie, and then manages to drive slowly. So way too wide there. So that was not sportsman driving on my part. Traded a tiny bit of paint, but on a straightaway. It's just to remind him that, you know, I could push, but I'm not going to push an inopportune time for him and completely knock him off the track. I don't like to see someone who goes from whatever position they're in all the way to the back of the pack just because someone drove into him. Like, really, my car, when someone does that, their car should be damaged enough to really kind of shoot the race for them as well. You can see when your back end slides, people are being a little too heavy on the throttle. And it's all about rinse and repeat until you know your car so well that you know just the right amount of throttle and at what angle of the steering wheel being turned you can perform the maneuver. I just drove straight through that. Missed turning in on time. Silly rookie mistake. It's because the steering wheel isn't the same. Some vehicles you turn less and get the results you want. Others, sorry to the car beside me, that is my fault. I'm sorry, Toyota. That was poor driving on my part. I slid into him, and I'm responsible for how my car slides. My speed was just maybe a little too high and I didn't come in at the right angle. So we're gonna come here wide, and I keep missing my turn in. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm ready to switch cars. I'm happy I tried out this car. I don't know how I feel about spending, what was it, 1.5 or 2.5 million on it, because this is a legendary car, and in no way is it better than the GTR that's, you know, either 450,000 or 600,000. I don't find it's better in any way. It's special, but I'm not driving it and going, wow, I'm blown away by the braking or the handling or the lightness or how direct the steering wheel is. I find the NSX is a better drive. So copy that driver than the Genesis. Lone Wolf, howdy ho, friend. Tomorrow it's going to be at 9 p.m. GMT 5, time zone 5, GMT time. There we go. Finally got the apex there. And just had to give myself the mantra, slower is faster. All the other times I turned in basically when I was supposed to, but the car doesn't turn if you're going too fast. Stomp on the throttle. I like cars that when I get to the middle of the apex, I can stomp on it. And I can see this has a small dislike for being over curbs, but that curb does throw off most vehicles that I've tested so far. At least once control was lost, it was pretty easy to regain. Unlike the Porsche 911, the problem is if you let off the gas in a corner, front end it tends to slide, because the Porsche 911, especially, you know, like let's say you have I was talking to someone who drove a real GT3 911 in the real world at quite a high speed through a corner, a friend of mine, and it was a left-hand turn, and his friend's taking it even faster. But he said when you go through the corner, this was on a racetrack, so 210 kilometers an hour, and he said, roughly, when you go into the corner, if the owner of the car is like, don't let go. If you let go of the gas, tends that, if you let go of the throttle, your front end will lift just a little and you won't have the downforce required, and you won't have the weight on the wheels enough to make the turn. So it's one of those things where even though your brain's telling you let go of the gas, because in a rear wheel, if you go into a corner with too much gas, well, if anything, if there's slippage from over wheel spin, the back end turns out. Whereas with the Porsche 911, you have to keep your foot on the throttle. Well, Lone Wolf. Oh, you think it's 8 o'clock for you? I was reading it like that's eight for me, as in that's it, but with an eight. I was like, yeah, maybe this is a new thing I don't know about. But so 8 o'clock, yes. Quite possibly, you could always do a Google search saying, uh, asking the difference between GMT 5 versus your time zone. And if you don't know the code for your time zone, you just write, where you live. For example, I wrote time zone for, you can write time zone for Vermont and it'll tell you time zone. So just write your state and ask Google what your time zone code is, and then ask the difference between that time zone and GMT 5. So let's see, Ava right up there. Congratulations. I love seeing that one. A 911, difficult yet rewarding car to drive. You got a D plus, so your speed went up, your sportsmanship went up. NSX up there, love that car. D went up, S went up. Driver rating in third. Also, congratulations, D Redneck. Your D, your speed went up for DR, and your SR, your safety rating, also went up. So congratulations to everyone. R, D, and S stayed the same, and not everyone quit out. We started the race with 16, but you see okay, 3 actually did not finish. They quit out. That's unfortunate. You got to stay in the game to get better. And we are going to head out. Congratulations, everyone, on that race. We're going to head out, and we're going to definitely do at least one more race, but with a car we're kind of used to. Unless in the comment section you say you'd like to see X car driven, or you want to throw me a funny challenge or a good piece of advice. For example, if you think the NSX GT500, which was also a legendary car, if you're really curious about how that drives, so one of them I think cost 1.5 million, the other one, so the GTR 1999 Pennzoil at the bottom left of the screen, that was either 1.5 or 2.5 million, and then the NSX was whatever number between 1.5 and 2.5 million. So the GTR, I can conclude, I don't think it's nice to have if you have the money, but if you're still counting your dollars, then GTR 13 at 450 or is either 6 or 800,000. The GT3 18 is as good. I'm not seeing really much of a difference. The NSX GT500, I felt I just had to have it because I like it. It looks amazing. I find it looks just a little bit better than the more modern NSX down here. I like the low hood line, the bonnet. The whole vehicle is just really low. Love it. I love the look, so I had to have it. So let's see. Okay, so no comments on what we should be driving. And I think I'm going to leave that for a test. Christopher Bieber, welcome to the show. This is JCCR Racing, where we've got the JCCR Racing crew, where we're all here to help, sometimes we're going to learn. Sometimes I'm going to be teaching you something completely new. Sometimes I'll be teaching you something you forgot about. And often you'll be teaching me things. So it's just back and forth community learning going on, so we learn and grow together. And the wheel I've got is the TGT2. I started off with the T150 from Thrustmaster, and it did a adequate job. It's fine. It's fun to use. I felt it lacked maybe just a little bit of torque, so I got this, and I actually got it with the torque turbo-like booster. And on full, it's actually too much for my wrist. It actually causes a little bit of pain. So we're going to head down this evening to finish it up. You know what, we already did the NSX last night, and I do get my fastest times on it. I've had a little bit of trouble on this course with the 911. So let's try out the McLaren. The Ferrari we've raced many times here, and I absolutely love it. So let's at least try out the McLaren, and after one lap, if it's just not feeling right, we'll throw on the NSX. Always nice to finish on a happy note. love the light. The steering wheel is light and it feels like it can just turn in so easily. You don't have to really turn the wheel a lot to get the results you want. So it's got a nice small ratio between the steering wheel and the wheels. Don't want to take off in third, that's for sure. Lack of torque. All these cars do have their HP dropped from their natural state, so less chance of spinning out coming out of a turn. I guess I was just going too fast. It didn't feel like I was going too fast, but when figuring out what's a right car for me for a race, because I'm a last minute racer, I want really strong brakes. The McLaren has the really strong brakes. Just want to see on that corner again if I'd be better served driving the NSX or the Ferrari. The Ferrari 458, gorgeous car. I just find when it does get hit, it's the opposite of the GTR that we did the last race in. I find it really gets punted around. Okay, maybe I'm just a little bit too quick going through. I'll check the next corner. Having trouble figuring out if I'm just not comfortable with the vehicle or if I'm just not driving well. So throttle, I was in, oddly when I'm in, not even an inch on the throttle. So out of 4 inches, I put it in an inch and I'm at half throttle. So that's part of the car, part of just my race setup. The pedals, I've been debating. It makes a weird sound. When I put it in, it doesn't quite feel right. I'm wondering if the spring is partially detached, if I need to buy a new spring or not. It doesn't have nearly the same feel as the other 2 pedals. Maybe some early, very beginner racing, I was a little too tough with it. I also bought this setup used off Facebook Marketplace, and I did meet up in a safe area to make sure. I always recommend to everyone to meet up in a safe area. I actually met in front of my gym during the daytime. You know, not at someone's apartment at, 11 at night. You want to play it safe. You never know what can happen. If you don't plan for failure, or if you don't plan for problems, you're planning to have problems. So let's get back into race C. Select from garage. Let's see here. Now, anyone have any suggestions? What is better? Ferrari 458 or NSX? I'm very open to driving either of those cars. I'd even do the Porsche 911. I'm just waiting for anyone to comment what they feel is the best for the next. Yeah, Christopher Bieber. No one seems to drive in a car view because they're obsessed with lap times, because you don't quite see as much. But I'm obsessed with becoming a better driver in real life. If I take my Porsche 911, either one of them, to the racetrack and I crash, I'm out all the money. I can't get insurance to cover me on a racetrack. So I race in the view that looks better and also makes you a better real world driver. So I think I actually probably don't have any. 20 seconds. Okay, so no car choice came in. Let's go wild. Let's jump in the NSX. Oh my goodness, Gran Turismo. Just give me the soft tires. I bought them. Throw them on. Sorry, I'm bitter tonight. Long work day. I work a little over. Well, I work 11 hours a day, but with the back and forth, it's like 12 hours. I mean, I guess I'm a little snippy at this time.
J. Lambert, Reaper 304, has joined.
Very glad to see that we're in a lobby. The grid is all S drivers, so SR, and then with an S underneath, that means you got the highest safety rating drivers, so it makes the race a lot more fun when you're not just, it doesn't feel like extreme school bullying. So that is nice. We're in the D class, so it's a bit of a D-clown show. Because even with the D class, even with the S rating, there's still a good amount of Mario Kart Twisted Metal action. So finding the best car, which cars dominate
Let's have a fun
You know, the
racing
cars that
race.
dominate online, there's no one car for every single race, but in a very suspicious manner, the Genesis always seems to be very, very fast. Kind of suspicious. Worth looking into that. But it's about what car works for you. What car are you comfortable driving? What car are you actually, you know, feel good about driving? Let's say you become a very, very fast driver in the Genesis, which is set up in this game to be one of the best cars. But you really don't like the brand Genesis. What's the point? You gotta get good lap times, decent lap times, and enjoy the process. Nice first gear reaction. Really good takeoff. We're taking positions. We haven't been this far up the front grid in a while. Getting pushed from behind. Somebody wanted to make me their girlfriend, but I am busting out of here. I love this Unleash the Beast by car 3 Stone. He must be a, a geologist? Oh, so happy the game ghosted him. We would have been super speared right there. I was supposed to race in the Nations last night, but even though Squirrel reminded me, I forgot to do my 11 o'clock race. So we are in 4th. We haven't been this close to the pole position since we came across this new race. That Red Bull ring, I came in knowing nothing. Did a few bad races. Went to the circuit experience to at least know where my braking points are, what my driving line is. So here I do mentally remember at the 50, some quick braking. Oh, that was about to the limit, but with a bad line. Wouldn't have been nearly as adrenaline pumping and scary had I had the correct line on that. So lost a little bit of time. Went in just maybe a little too hot to get the right line. So here, let's go super wide. And the 3, all these cars are faster. They've got 129 lap times, and I've got a 131, which in racing, it's a huge difference. Like, it's 2 seconds a lap. By the end of the race, we're miles apart. I'd love to see lobbies. Do they need to do the whole alphabet? Like, I think that it should be a 1 second difference per racing letter. So, you know, if you're in the D class, you're only 5 seconds a lap off the world's fastest. And when you get in a race, you should all be within, you know, it's the 131 lap time category. Then another alphabetical letter for the 132s. And unfortunately, I made the mistake of getting a 131, and I can't recreate it. It's not a consistent lap time. But we're holding the position here. A little defensive driving. We need to stay in the correct line to decrease our chances of getting past. Woo! A little bit too much turn in there. So if you let go, the NSX, if you let go of the brake too quickly when the steering wheel's turned, you will get a good amount of redirection from the nose. But we are now in 3rd just by safe, smart, and slow driving. No retaliations at the 100. Get some braking in here. Let go early so I can make the turn. Because if you don't let go of the brake, you definitely do not make the turn. Wow, you never see that. An actual Mustang behind us. Let's see if you can keep the back end under control. I'm not sure. He was a very good sportsman driver right there, because that's on me. I went too slow. I definitely went too slow, and he did not punt me. And we got the NSX, you really got to rev it out, otherwise you're really losing out on its potential. It makes power in the really high RPM range. Trying to hold on to this position. The adrenaline is high. My face is red. Oh, and we got some slide out of the car, and that is gonna get us. Yes, and he's sportsman. He knew I was going way faster, and he gave me the line. That is how you're supposed to drive. And anyways, he has a chance to pass me right here because that's my slowest corner. Here we go. We're in second place. Now, just have to make all these remaining laps without mistakes. Fat chance. .5 penalty there. Possibly. Maybe because I went out on the yellow and came back on the yellow, I won't get a penalty, but I doubt it. Have to wait and see. We got Blue Thunder back there. At the 100, full braking, using engine braking to just get in on the nick of time. Automatic would not have had that kind of braking powder, and I'm almost wondering if the cars behind us are driving automatic because they definitely started braking much earlier to slow down like that. So here, if you get the right speed, you can come in. If you're going slow, you can get the apex and be back on the throttle so much earlier. And you don't want to just smash the throttle when the steering wheels turn because you will spin out unless you're driving on stability control 5. But if you are driving on stability control 5, you're losing out time because when you get the right line like here and your steering wheel still turned and you add throttle, it just won't take off much or at all because stability control removes spinning tires, but removing spinning tires also means sometimes removing forward momentum and motion. There we go, starting to get that last turn better. Actually kind of doing half decently here in second place. The pack is behind us. Gotta just hold speed through there. If you slow down in advance, you can actually hold and carry a good amount of speed through that first turn. And then the second turn, you think it's gonna be the same thing, but you cannot carry speed through the second turn. Very surprising how different these two turns are, despite kind of looking similar on the map, but it's because that one really cranks you around. Just have to remember NSX, Porsche 911, Ferrari Italia, you really got to rev them up. And I lost time messing around with the shifter there. Really worth getting down to the correct speed here and running. Really, this is two turns, and it kind of looks like one, but the first you have to go in, and then you just throttle through the second one. 50, some quick braking. And you can see the NSX is really much more my car than that GTR. It suits, and it's not that it's better than the GTR. It just suits how I drive. It's fast braking, hardly any spinning when you're too hard on the throttle, very controllable nose pop when you let go of the brake too quickly, kind of like the Ferrari 458. Oh, shame, shame, shame on me. Oh, we brought it back. We survived, but we lost time, and now we got action on our back. Back action, rear action. Stone is coming after us pretty hard because he's a stone. Stones are pretty hard. Woo. Oh, he must be frustrated. He's thinking I really should have gotten to pass him, but I was just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and we took the line in a similar manner. Pretty slow through there. I'm very surprised. Yeah, here we go. He's got the pass on. Ooh, I'm gonna come back, try to take my line, but he is on it. Woo! It's nail biting. He can smell my exhaust. And I think he might have tried to hit me there. We'll see. If he went off course, he definitely tried to hit. And if he did try to hit, he's gonna lose out. Oh, we got some spin there. When I start spinning and don't want to, I should let go of the throttle probably, but when I don't want to let go of the throttle, I just shift up. It looks like neither of us want to pit because we just don't want to have that feeling that we gave up the position. Oh no, he pit. He pit, and I should have pit because these tires, driver rear is gonna start giving me problems and want to slide out. Definitely not worth the 1 minute penalty. A 10-second penalty, I just definitely drive this through. So we're now momentarily in first. Woo, quick celebration. We won't be after pitting, but it is nice to have one lap without anyone pushing. So I can just focus on having a nice, peaceful lap. So it said to go in on first gear. I go in on first gear, but then I came out in second to avoid tire spin and rear slide out, which is, the car is much more susceptible to both those things, while my tires are where they're at now, and it's going to get worse and worse. Here I was turning too hard, but I shouldn't, because the more you turn the steering wheel, the less the car is, fast. Very slow through there, and I'm definitely gonna have to pit now, unless all of a sudden with pitting times I'm not considerably ahead. I'm 3 seconds ahead, meaning first, who's been driving all by himself for quite some time, really got ahead with only having to focus on the track and not bozos pushing and pounding on him. So first just has an incredible lead in reality. So if anyone wants to drop in the comments a little before, remind me to take that pit. I get into just driving. I love to drive. Here we go, down at the 100. We get some braking in. Turn in. I missed the apex, which is a shame because that means I went in too quickly, and it feels like you take the corner faster, but overall, because you carry less speed in and you don't get, well, you carry more speed in if you don't crash, but you miss cutting the track. This is how you drive the least amount of track and get on the throttle sooner, giving you faster lap times, minus my error of sliding out the car. So where's this darn pit? I guess it's right here, right? Oh, thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Squirrel. And I will take the tires, because that's going to add 4 seconds, about roughly, a tire change. Oh, don't refuel. There's the boys in gray. I want to go find out if I can change my pit crew uniform. I want flashy colors, with I'm easily distracted, but my attention also gets easily attracted. It's more like when you have ADD, it's more like you're attracted to things easily. It's not a deficiency, it's actually excess attention. Oh, I'm sorry, that was not cool of me. Very, very not cool. That was not cool at all. And that was actually a very sportsman driver. He had been kind to me, so I'm feeling pretty bad. If he comes across the stream, he'll know, oh, he felt pretty bad about that. And I really do. If he gets a good corner, I'm definitely going to leave him all the space, let him have the perfect line. I'll be on the opposite side of the track. I'm not going to drive defensively because he deserves a pass from me, as I went in that corner too quick. I shouldn't have been on the inside, really, is the problem. Oh, very cool. Squirrel 86, we can make our own suits. Thank you very much for the information. Still feeling like a pretty horrible dirty dog. I was a dirty, dirty dog. I didn't think it through. I was like, oh, I see space. I'll just cut through here. But he cut in more than I thought he would. And it was my fault nonetheless. It was his line. It was definitely his line. No doubts about it. If I get this bronze position, I can say the Thunder Genesis deserved it. Oh, 3-second penalty. So you can see the game didn't give me a penalty. For whatever reason, I guess they think it's okay, but I don't find it was kosher at all. Like there, it just happened to me, and I didn't... Actually, there I really didn't mind. It didn't knock me off the track. It was light enough that it's just trading paint and actually slowed both of us down. So instead of hunting down the higher positions, we just both kind of lose out a little. And the fact that he's got a 3-second penalty passing me is completely pointless because 3 seconds, like, I'm going to be in a different time zone. There we go. Time to smoke his doors. Woo! No more doors for you, my friend. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. And really, by bumping into me, he lost probably a half a second. So really, his 3.5-second penalty, he kind of turned it into... chose to make it a 4-second penalty. Real racing and sim racing, it's all about math. Real racing, there's math about, okay, how much is this costing me in tires? How much is it costing me in fuel? How much is it costing me in damages? How can I bring money to offset that? But in this game, you still have a lot of math because you got to figure out, okay, on that corner, how much time did I gain or lose versus how I normally my average take of that corner? How much time am I losing hitting people? What am I gaining? What am I losing? And I'm telling you, I've got one of the slowest times in this pack, and I'm finishing way ahead where I was finishing just one night ago and even earlier in the live. And it's just smart, safe driving and just repeating the same 5 to 10 beginner driver driving tips. And then you can use any car you're comfortable with because you will dominate with any car that you're comfortable with, because it's so much more important to know the car than to know what is the fastest car. And it's also really important to know the track. And for that, watch these videos, join the JCCR racing crew, because we will learn and grow together to victory. And I say we go from 0 to hero. And here we go. A bronze finish. You don't want to count your chickens or count your eggs before they're hatched, but we got a bronze finish. And I'm happy Stone finished behind us, but Stone did deserve that more than us. I'm sorry, Stone. Going in on that first corner, I thought I had the space. I said I'm going to go inside and cut the corner more because I thought you weren't going to cut it. I thought you're just going too fast and we're going to kind of really go wide, and I miscalculated. So I hope we can still be friends, and in the next race when I see Stoned, if I see you take a corner and you're coming up behind me quickly instead of driving defensively and forcing you to brake, I'm going to give way. Congratulations to Sabas System win in the Mercedes AMG GT3 2020. Now that is a fantastic car for lobbies where there's a lot of pushing, a lot of punting, and spearing into another stratosphere, because that car is solid. The Mustang. I haven't driven it long enough to get punted, because while I have a Shelby GT350 in the real world, I can't drive that on a track without sliding the rear end Dukes of Hazzards style all over the place. NSX, that's us. Coco in second and silver, great job. Stone with the GR Super Racing concept and a pretty cool lightning skin. Congratulations. And we got Adcock down over in fifth. I like to see that the top positions, I hope all our S ratings stayed the same or ideally went higher. We did not get the clean racing star, which we often get. Let's see here. First place, congratulations. Faster laps. When DR has a plus triangle, it means you did faster than your normal time. Your S stayed the same. Your S stayed this. Yours. Oh, all top 3 positions. Our S went up, and Stoned I knew was an excellent sportsman, gentleman driver, because when we were battling it out, he was very respectful, and when he saw I had more speed than him, he let me have the line. He's like, oh, I see him coming up quick on me. I'm not just gonna block him and force him to spin or hit me. He left me track. So thank you so much, friend. D Redneck. Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Stoned. You're right. Johnny is dirty, and I'm sorry. I gotta try to see, where can I apologize here. I can say I'm a beginner. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. I'm sorry. Make sure he gets it here. Don't leave yet. Make sure you get my apology here.
Has left the room.
Yeah, that was dirty. I think that was the first time I can say I was really, and it wasn't deliberate, but that was dirty dog action from me. Stone should have gotten third. And oddly, the game didn't give us a penalty. Didn't give me a penalty. The crew had nothing to do with that. That was all me. Squirrel, thank you so much. Christopher Bieber, thank you so much. Great chatting with you. Lone Wolf, thank you for dropping a comment. Look forward to seeing you all tomorrow in GMT 9 p.m. time in our JCCR Racing sub lobby. And let's see, when we go to lobby, I'm going to go see where we have to go. I think we go down here to multiplayer and lobby. So I'm going to see if I can already, maybe it's already been created, maybe not. But at least I'm getting the hang of this. So room search, and I'll have to look this up before I get the camera out, because clearly the camera is blocking everything here. Great, so I know where to go for tomorrow night. I will be there, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get a good night's sleep so it doesn't look like I was out at the bars before the Friday work day. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I really, really appreciate it. If you can drop a comment, if you haven't already dropped a comment, that'd be really appreciated. Until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power. I do hope you get to put the pedal to the metal on your favorite car real soon. Take care, folks. Thank you again so much for watching. Have a great day. I wish you all the absolute best. God bless.